Hi, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this is a paid request for Jonathan. His username was Jerp Pin. Very nice guy, very generous guy. I know I also have another commentary for him a bit later that he wanted me to do. But first for him is Grandma's Boy, which I've seen this film once before. And I remember having the movie, but I could not find it. So I'm watching it online. But I do remember liking the film, but at the same time, it's a film I only saw once. So I'm not going to remember a whole lot about this. But I do remember liking it. Now, before I go on, for anyone that wants to request any type of videos, whether it be a topic, tier list, ranking, review, re-review, thought streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour or full playthrough, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I really, truly do appreciate it. So yeah, let's get into it. Get PayPal, CashApp, links are down below in the info box. Pause at the beginning. Let me just make sure I get everything situated here. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. And we have the Fox logo as 4, 5, 6 seconds, 7. The Fox logo, something that is no longer around, Sally. Disney has it. And what is this next? Level 1 Entertainment. I never even heard of that one before. Happy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison. Adam Sandler's production, which not only started releasing some of his own films, but helped release films that had Rob Schneider, or Nick Swardson, or this film, his buddy Alan Covert. And that's right, Alan Covert plays a video game tester, I believe. So I have a little bit of old school game here as we get to our main character. We have Alan Covert. Xbox, damn. Never owned an Xbox. Never got to play Xbox. Part of me wanted to pick up an Xbox and pick up the original Reddit game. But I mean, I have it on the PlayStation 3, but I know the original, it looks a bit different. There's some extra things that are not on the PlayStation 3 version, but wow, Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash. I forgot he was in this. What a dick. Unplugged his controller. Just But yeah, one of the movies was Kevin Nash. Big Daddy Diesel. There you go, with the Lay's potato chip. Right there on the left. And Rob Schneider. Of course, Rob Schneider has to be in there having a character with some type of accent. I mean, he did that with 50 First Dates. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. Common thing for Rob Schneider in these type of movies. But I mean, I'm just all over the place. Like Kevin Nash, of course, the wrestler. He was Diesel back in the day, then part of the NWO. And, of course, he was Super Shredder in Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze. He had a tiny bit in the first John Wick film. He was the big Russian in The Punisher with Thomas Jane. Kevin Nash in wrestling and movies, been a lot of stuff. I always thought he did fine in movies. Always felt natural presence. Now, Alan Covert here on the left, the only film he got to star in, which is too bad. I thought he did, from what I remember, he did a perfectly acceptable job. He appeared in a lot of Adam Sandler films throughout the years as bit parts here and there. But yeah, this is the only time he got the star in. And this film did not do well at all. This film was a complete bomb. And sadly killed chances for him to star in any other movies. But I know there was a podcast. I think Nick Swardson, who's in the film, he mentioned how him and Adam Sandler met a CEO of Blockbuster, and he said, "You know, this film, it was the film that got stolen the most. People rented and they never brought it back." So this does have a cult following. So it does have a cult following. Sorry about my voice. But yeah, Alan Covert, like, he's done a lot of stuff. Just look up some of the stuff he's done. Like I say, he worked with Adam Sandler a lot. It's July. Get the fuck out, it is. He was a cop in Airheads. He was Otto in Happy Gilmore. He was a detective in Bulletproof. He was in The Wedding Singer, The Waterboy, Big Daddy, and he was an associate producer. He was in Mr. Deeds. He was in Anger Management. He was in 51st Dates, 10 Second Time, Referee in The Longest Yard remake, Bedtime Stories. He's been a lot of stuff. Otto and Happy Gilmore, he was the guy that, he was the homeless guy with the big beard, and Adam Sandler had him brought along to hold the clubs and stuff. And he still worked with them. He was a executive producer on Murder Mystery 2. He was in Hubie Halloween. And not only is he an actor, but he produces a lot of this stuff too. Like, he's a producer on Hotel Transylvania, That's My Boy, a lot of the lesser Adam Sandler films. So I guess it's, yeah, a lot of the really shittier ones. Now this lady here who's hugging Alan Covert, that is Doris Roberts. His plays his grandma. Doris Roberts, good actress. She was in Everyone Loves Raymond. She did a good job in that. A very good, capable actress. So nice choice for this role. I think this guy, he says his name was Jeff, right? That's the guy we saw earlier, where he was tan? What was it? Oh, yeah, this is Jeff. Oh, yeah. Nick Swardson. Nick Swardson is one of those guys I could never get into. I was never big on. Just his mannerisms and the type of characters he plays, and how at times he plays these like spastic reactions. I just never been big on him. I'll admit that is a funny line. I gotta admit, your bed's a car, yeah, but it's a fucking sweet ass car. But just I've never been like big Knit Swords. Like they had him in what Pixels. He starred in Buddy Larson, Born to Be a Star, which I hated that film. Hated it. I think that's one of those movies that got, if not a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, but close to it. I'm like, well, that deserves it. Granted, critics didn't like this film either, but I thought this film was a lot funnier and such. Definitely some video game stuff around. We had Fight Night, the boxing game here. Here was Guilty Deer. Now, of course, I mean, it doesn't really look like Lara Croft. I mean, I don't think she has long ass hair. But I'm like, well, they probably was like, well, we can't. He had to pretend to be Lara Croft. It's like, I pretend it's Lara Croft. I'll pretend that it's it, but then. Even that, while I'm not really big on like either like fart jokes or gross out jokes, I think it's just the way Alan Covert plays it. Like he's actually not bad. It's kind of a shame that he didn't get to star in a lot of movies. This is the only one he starred in because he's actually not. I mean, he's not top 10, comedians or anything, or top 50, but I thought he's natural enough that he did fine. I think also a cult following bit is just all the references to video games. Like you got Snake there from Metal Gear Solid, and just the environment. Being a video game tester, very unique. Like you don't know many movies where that's the occupation for the lead characters. Now this lady here is Linda Cardellini. Beautiful lady. She was on Freaks and Deets. She was Velma in those live action Scooby-Doo films. I mean, he has good, like, natural. His reactions, his delivery of his dialogue. It doesn't feel. Like with Rob Schneider, sometimes it feels like he's trying to overdo it, overplay it. Here, just kind of more. I don't know if I want to say subtle. I think this video game is like a real game, but just. It never got fully released. But a lot of references. You got South Park everywhere. We had, like you said, you had the Metal Gear Solid. We got Kevin Nealon here. Another guy who's been in a lot of stuff. He plays the boss here. I always remember him, Happy Gilmore. Feel the ball. Feel the ball. Piece of monkey shit. You want to feel this? Then feel this. You know, just for it happens, I'll be the shot of him and Happy Gilmore. Fuck that. And they're bleeping all the words. But this is around the time Adam Sandler, I mean, he was just the biggest comedic guy that movie after movie after movie was making more and more. Whether it be, again, he had this kind of foundation, he had this routine. Whether it be Longest Yard or Anger Management or did Big Daddy, who just made a ton of fucking money each time. Unless he was doing something different like Punch Drunk Love or Funny People, then they weren't made as nearly as much. And they usually low budget, so it'd be a lot of profit. So obviously was able to make a deal and okay, well we get him for this, and okay, this would be a low budget. Even if we lose money on it, we still get enough profit with these bigger films that Adam stars in that at least we're still going to get profit. And it makes your lead character happy, your lead actor happy. Otherwise, he'll go to another studio that will give him those things. Now, this guy looking like straight out of the Matrix is Joel Moore. I remember he was in the first Hatchet film. He was in the first Hatchet movie as the lead. Which I know in one of the Hatchet films he actually pops back up and then immediately gets killed. I don't remember which one that is. I don't know if that was the second film or I don't remember. Yeah, was that Frogs and Flies? I know they said the name of the game, but there was a game for Atari called Frogs and Flies that looks similar to that. And I forget, the guy in the back there is fucking Jonah Hill. Wow. Very young Jonah Hill back there. Right on the left there. With the glasses and stuff. Which this was very early in Jonah Hill's career because I think it's the year after he was in Superbad, and that's when he really took off. 21 Jump Street, Wolf of Wall Street, stuff like that. So, but yeah, I think he was in the 40-year-old version, and that's it at this point. And it Schwarzenegger has like a rainbow bright T-shirt. And the fact he keeps calling his mom roommate. So the lady there that was drinking a big old bottle, that's Shirley Jones from the Partridge Family. I don't know why it reminds me of stopping my mom will shoe where just keep giving food after food after food. Only there was a much more food here. That poor lady, like all she could do is eat those damn pills. Guy's expert. I mean, he's a video game tester designer, so he would need that. From what I remember, there's like a lot of chores or stuff he's got to do or something. Vaguely remember that. Is that the girl that took the pills? She in the room? Oh, is that the grandma fooling with him? Like I said, it's been a while since I've seen this, so I can't remember. I did remember Joel Moore acting like a robot. And that's definitely a clip that's a lot of people. You've seen that clip throughout the internet when people reference this. The fact that the grandma's is like playful about it. It's kind of cool. That's the thing though, like nowadays you don't really see much in terms of comedy in general. I mean, it's horror comedy, action comedy, but I'm just straight up comedies. Especially ones that become like huge hits. I mean, I guess if you could say Barbie was a comedy. I guess you could say that. And that was a huge hit. I mean, years after this, you had Super Bad, The Hangover, which had sequels, Horrible Bosses, Neighbors, stuff of that nature. But yeah, I can't even think of the last comedy. If you don't include Barbie, but the last comedy that made it big for the masses. I didn't like the comedic bits or stuff that's in superhero, like Deadpool Wolverine, or again, horror, like people say the Monkeys a horror comedy. That stuff, so. Now here's the chores. Shitload of rugs. Jesus. I'd be fucking horrified at that sight to go under a sofa and find 3 dead cats. Jesus Christ, I'd be instantly fucking horrified. What is that on the... that they're drinking? Is that like vitamin water or something? I don't think we needed a fart joke there, but that's just me. After what? Yeah, I would guess the reason they have him dressed like this is he's trying to be like the Matrix, Neo or Morpheus or something of that nature. I mean, granted, this was 2000. What was 2006? So I guess the sequels had come out 2003. So. I forgot, yeah, he was making his own video game. I forgot that was a subplot for this. But yeah, I think in a way it's kind of endearing, you know, teaching the older person how to play games and stuff, which probably back then seemed a bit kind of off the beaten path, but I forget what it was. Was it? There was a story that I forgot. I wish I could remember what the hell it was though. Someone had a Game Boy, and I was like, "What's that?" And then the next thing you know, this older actor came in with his own Game Boy, and they was fixated on it, and but this is just a kind of a charming, fun bit of, you know, teaching the old person. The old person like, what? Like, just out of her element. Basically, I think just this kind of thing that people in a weird way, wish they could experience themselves. You know, they wish they could experience, which some have, but you know, maybe more so than not. Again, their mom, their dad, their grandma, their grandpa get into something that they're into and having fun and enjoying it and being excited about it. Where you relate to, you know, relate in interests. I'm interested in the same things you are, and vice versa. I'm looking up, trying to think. I think that guy who is the marijuana dealer, I think that's Peter Dante. I think that's him. I think. If that's him, then he was in Little Nicky, Mr. D's, Wedding Sitter, Waterboy, Chuck and Larry, Grown Ups 2. But I guess what happened after Grown Ups 2, apparently, he was kicked out of a hotel. He said the N word at someone to the staff, and because of the whole situation, he kind of got banned from being part of Adam Sandler films from then on. And number one, he should never say the N word. I don't care what the reason for it. There is no reason for it. There's no good reason for it. Just don't say it. That's number one. Number two, like that's like a steady work. Because Adam Sandler works a lot, and okay, you get a part, you get a paycheck, residuals. They're friends. This guy takes care of you. Why he thought of taking that out of the fucking oven without mitts, I don't know. God damn. But you gotta find a way. What the fuck? I don't see. Like, on the right, what is that girl in the back? Oh, brown sugar, tobacco unwrapped? The hell is that? Yeah, what is that? The tobacco unwrapped. Hey, what the hell is that? Sweetness from fingertips to legs. I don't know what the hell that is. Is that like a... Yeah, I don't know what that is. What'd that game say? Peace out life? Or what? Peace out life. What the hell does it even mean? Peace out life. Peace out life. Sorry life. Sorry you're no good anymore life. Sorry you dead life. Sorry you fucked life. Peace out life.
What is that? Gay robots? I didn't even know that poster. Warning: metal on metal. Camp. Is that meant to be a game that they made? Gay robots? Sounds like a game they made today. Camp? Okay. I know people. There are people that get really obsessed with with stuff like this Antique Roadshow. I know people that have watched this incessantly because they just get so intrigued or so interested in. Do they have anything similar that they could sell, or is there something that they just realize out of the blue? Oh my God, this thing can really fetch up some coins, and oh, I have something that seems similar to that. I don't have that problem. I don't have anything similar to that, so I just never bothered. God, remember when phones used to have cords and you could just you did is that what you do? And you watch this and you just see just how updated things have been with video games, how even these graphics seem antiquated with how they do games today. And phones would just be all cell phones and stuff like that. And the thing is that the Rama seems just very sweet. And it's was hard for him to get mad at her because she cleaned his bond, made it a vase for flowers. But she says such a sweet, good natured way that you can't really, you know, get mad at her and stuff. And I even like this. I like the idea of competition video game playing. I mean, now they do have video game competitions where it's mostly shooters, stuff like that. And nowadays it doesn't seem maybe as out of the doesn't seem as rare. I've seen other films where they play around with Dance Dance Revolution or something of that nature, but I think at this time it just didn't seem as common unless you like the Wizard, that Nintendo competition at the end and stuff. And Nick Swartzen, I gotta be honest, here he's a lot less overzealous. As I say, as he's doing this dance thing, but as he's barely hitting the goddamn things on the fucking. If you watch his feet, it's like he's not hitting the damn things. This guy really, it really is comes off as a fucking poser thing. He's this big hacker guy. And what the fuck is even any of this? Even more, I'm thinking is, I mean, the ones and zeros that you see on the computer early on in the Matrix. The chair leaned back as if he's going to be jacked in and be in the Matrix. Even that top right, the right screen, looks like it would be a publicity still for one of the Matrix sequels. That's the thing, when the Matrix came out, like every other movie ripped it off. From Kung Pao Enter the Fist to Charlie's Angels to so many people doing the bullet time and moving out of the way and doing this move. The hell, by the time the sequels came out in 2003, it seemed old hat. Scary Movie did it, and that was in 2000. Tons of stuff did it, especially comedies. And when you see it copied or parodied so much, when the sequels try to legitimately do it, just doesn't seem as special to people as it did before. And of course, he heard what this guy said and passed off as his own. Which, I guarantee you that's the thing that's happened in the video game industry. I can't remember the details, but I remember hearing about how. What was it? The movie Frequency with Dennis Quaid. There was a guy who. Was his Noah Emmerich or something? That in reality he didn't really write. It was more like he stole someone's screenplay, but then the person couldn't really get anything from it, so this guy got away with that story and got away with stealing and had no repercussions, and then continued to work later on and stuff. But he was able to get away with it, which is such shit. Toby Emmerich, that's who it was. Noah Emmerich's the actor. I knew it was Emmerich, but I'm like, wait a minute. So Noah Emmerich is the actor that was in The Truman Show and was in uh, yeah, Toby Emmerich is his name. Film executive. That's the thing. He was a film executive, and he could get away with shit. So there you go. Like that's their interpretation you got out of it. Of course, the whole misunderstanding going back to Three's Company and all that stuff, where he must be gay and all this stuff. So yeah, it could be a very funny conundrum. That definitely a comedy trope that's happened quite a few times throughout the years in various movies. His fucking hair too, just got those like not quite Princess Leia, but got just the fact he's got a damn guy from Zimbabwe behind him. Jesus. I'm sorry this commentary isn't really as vocal as other stuff, but like I said, I don't really have a personal history with the film. I've seen this film again like one time. I remember liking it. And then like the actors like Alan Covert, I say he played a bunch of big roles in Adam Sandler films, so it's not like he's a guy who grew up with starring in this and that, like a Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler, all that stuff. The production history I don't know a whole lot about because I don't know there's really a lot of making of material with this. So you're kind of sitting there going, okay, I don't know what all to talk about. So you got Pepsi, you got Mountain Dew. Yeah, watches again, there's not really a whole lot of plot going on. I mean, it's the first 50 minutes, and pretty much it's been. I mean, pretty much it's him finding a way to test the game out, and kind of just random stuff happening. Him being kicked out, moving in with his grandma and friends, find a way to test the game, and then that's kind of what's been. Usually at this point, it's Adam Sandler has to do something to get his grandmother's house saved. Or Adam Sandler is trying to deal with this girl who loses her memory every day. Or Deuce Bigelow, the bid tank was destroyed, he's got to find money, and he's now in the middle of hooking up in order to pay for it. So he's dealing with these other different women. Here it's. Intimidating is not really the word I'm thinking of, guy. Like you want to take your meds. I want to know about this gay robots thing with this poster. Like, if that's a video game, what kind of video game would that be? I just like I just like any other mecha game, but just the robots are gay, I guess. Oh, this is like the vegan restaurant. Sorry, I'm just listening to David Spade. That's a guy who I do like. I'm a fan of David Spade. The first time I ever saw him was in Tommy Boy with him and Chris Farley. I thought him and Chris Farley had a fantastic chemistry together. They worked so well together, which makes sense because they were on SNL for years. And I even liked the next film they did, Black Sheep. I think that's a fun film. That's a film that I was rather entertained by. So, sadly, Chris Farley passes away, so we could never see them team up again. Among the many other ways it's sad that Farley died. But as he continued, I liked him in the first Grown Ups film. I liked him in, the first Joe Dirt, I don't mind. I actually liked, was it Dickie Roberts, former child star? I thought that was a fun one. He did one called Lost and Found, which was kind of meh. Eh. It was there, but kind of forgettable, but kind of just meh, Eh. No one ever remembers that film. It's like, oh yeah, that was a movie. And yet he would pop up from time to time, and I always thought he did good work. I even liked him in, was it The Do-Over? With him and Adam Sandler. That's actually one of the last decent Adam Sandler films I saw was The Do-Over. Because it was cool to see Adam Sandler and David Spade work. Like, they worked together, but actually be, like, side by side as a team. That was nice to see. Instead of just part of a group or him in the fourth, fifth you build. I do like the first Grown Ups. I think the first Grown Ups is fun. The sequel, not so much, but I do like the first Grown Ups, so. Yes, I do quite like. I thought that's a fun movie. Super Mario, nice name drop. Okay, you gotta go to bathroom number 2 style. You tell me there's no. What about that place behind? You tell me there's no other places that have a bathroom that you could use? No gas stations in between? There's like a gas station every 2 or 3 blocks when you're in a city. So what the fuck? And I thought like Alan Covert and Linda Cardellini, they actually have like a nice carefree attitude towards each other. The chemistry isn't actually too bad. So, eventually they're going to get together, but it doesn't seem too out of place or too fantastical. Of course, I mean, you can figure what the joke is here when you put the pot in the thing. They accidentally took the pot right into the tea. I'm sorry, just still so wild to have like I said, I forgot that Jonah Hill was in this movie. I really did. And another thing, this film doesn't feel like it looks down on gamers. Like I thought Pixels kind of did that, where the idea of Pixels was that you if you're really good at video games, you just become this guy that works at Best Buy. But the one guy that was not in the video games, Kevin James, he became the president of the United States, and and the way Adam Sandler played the role, it just felt like looking down upon gamers. But this one feels as if like they're either the underdogs or like there's nothing wrong with him being a game designer. Or a game tester. In fact, his dream is to be a game designer. My grandma drank all my pot. So, game developer Terminal Reality was involved in the film's production, letting footage to promote their game Demonic. Although the game was just cancelled, the footage remained in the final cut. Came out January, made $3 million opening weekend, only made $6 million domestically. Had a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. Had a 6.9 on IMDb. But apparently this film made over 50 million in DVD sales. So Day Robot is a TV series written by Nick Swardson and a character from a sketch of the same name from Amazon's 2004 comedy album Shh, Don't Tell. There's also a small poster for Day Robot on the shelf. A TV series written by Nick Swardson, huh? Okay. A robot discovers he is gay after a wine cooler spilled on him and fries his circuit board. Okay. Again, never heard of that before. Colonel Crackers. Yeah, you tell like what they were allowed and not allowed to use. Like they're allowed to have Mountain Dew and Pepsi in the back, but what the fuck is Colonel Crackers? Like they wanted Captain Crunch, but they weren't able to. They say yes to it, I guess. Like, okay, the guy mentions Lara Croft, but it's obviously not Lara Croft. Doesn't look anything like her. But you could argue, well, she's just. But yeah, so I was listening to the Joel Moore's ranting, or however you want to put it. Jeez. Put that on Jonah Hill's reel. One of your first bit breaks is head in the middle of titties, wanting milk. So the game used in the movie Eternal Deathslayer 3 is a modified version of Blood Rain 2, which along with the abandoned
demonic was a Texas-based developer, Terminal Realities Games. Sorry, I'm just looking through the trivia if there's anything. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, when you think of the Partridge Family, you never really think about, her being her playing some horny old broad that apparently banged Abbott and Costello. Hopefully not at the same time. I think that like this movie, like watching it, it just has a comfortable aura to it. Like its tone seems to be consistent. I think people could just put it on and they don't really need to pay close attention because the plot is just very loosey goosey with it, and it's stuff people to relate to, either drinking, doing drugs, video games, beautiful women, you got titties. Linda Carlini being pretty hot there. And look at that cleavage. Jesus. Holy shit. God damn. Now, the other guy, Kelvin Yu, the Asian guy, he did a lot of TV work. Frasier, ER, Las Vegas. He was a writer and executive producer on the Fox cartoon Bob's Burgers. Huh. He won an Annie Award for Outstanding Achievement in Writing for the episode The Haunting. Huh. It's like, where the hell am I? And why the hell am I here? Okay, so he was in Cloverfield? I don't remember him in Cloverfield. He was in Wonder Woman 84. Talking about the Asian guy, Kelvin Yu.
That's what I mean. Like that whole thing there with her mention about how it's nice to have him around because he reminds me of my husband, your grandfather, and the way Alan is like, hey, I like being your roommate, and my grandpa would have loved you, and yeah, it just feels very. I keep repeating the word natural. It just felt like a very like he's. I don't know how to put it. Just comfortable. The awkwardness after, like, what else you're gonna say? What else you're gonna 3,000 dicks have been where she's at, buddy. So, welcome to the club. Hope the club was fun. Like I said, it's one of those where you just pop in with a group of friends and then you watching it and just yeah, you just you don't. There's not really an in-depth plot to pay attention. Yeah, it's just pretty much not really a plot so far. We got 23 minutes left of the movie. I think something about the asshole steals his game, and I think that's what it is. I think so. But you know what? Again, the actors do their jobs well. These two, I thought they had a nice, comfortable, charming bit back and forth. You know, nice chemistry. And it's like, wait, that person gets with that person? I can't believe it. No, it's like, I could believe it. And again, Alan Covert as the lead has this nice, you know, easygoing, laid back charm to him. You have wacky characters like this, your antagonist. This whole robot thing and the way he looks and stuff. The the other stuff in the peripheral, some people to relate to, or some people to get behind or get intrigued by. Shit like this, like, okay, you got, what is it, gummy bears and all this other shit. Yeah, it does as a, the prank call and stuff, yeah. Sorry about that. It's like 12:40 at night. Hmm. That's for me. Is it? I guess some things they were allowed to show, like the Game Informer. I used to have Game Informer stuff. Yeah, Resident Evil 4. So again, definitely showcases when around this came out. Because Resident Evil 4, that's a classic game. I love that. That is one of my favorite games of all time. That one and Silent Hill 2. The original Silent Hill 2, because I never played the remake. I know Silent Hill 2 Remake is on PS5. I don't know what it is with people. Like, I've done through my stream, I've had two people say, "Oh, I'm going to get you a PS5." I'm like, oh, okay, and then they don't. I'm like, well, why? Okay, I'm not bad because I kind of expected that, but I just, why are people like braid up in the first place? Just kind of this weird thing. I don't know. I don't know. That's just a random thing. That's just fresh in my head because I just got done with a stream where that happened. I'm like, okay, I mean, cool. That be, I would take it, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm not holding my breath. Not holding my breath on it. Anyway, back to this movie. Obviously, there was not a sequel to this because of how poor it did in the theaters. I am surprised if it did that well on home video, they would just not have made a direct-to-video sequel. But there's a direct-to-video sequel to Bulletproof called Bulletproof 2. I mean, there's a lot of movies you go, really? A sequel to that movie? But I like how the creature in there looks like the Predator in from the Predator movies. Looks like it. Ah, man. But I mean, here's this guy you're trusting, thinking, well, this guy is this bid time, bid name person. Maybe by getting some nice words from this guy and knowing people, then he could get a bit more of a leeway. I mean, I would have thought if you're going to show this, show it to Linda Cardellini. Like, just show more of a, hey, play more of this game and what do you think about it? She'd be the one I would show it to, not this fucking guy, but, you know. We gotta have some kind of conflict. That's the thing, there hasn't really been any conflict. Which, in a way, is kind of nice surprise in terms of it's not typical. Where it was not, oh, it's the person going to fall with this girl, but then the girl wants him to change, or she has a boyfriend, or she's getting married, and then stop the wedding, or no, I'm better than him, or something to that effect. Or again, you know, my grandma's losing her house, so we gotta save it. Or the boss is like all sorts of things that you see in a lot of movies where some kind of conflict and there's multiple conflicts and then we're going to overcome it by the end. Maybe at one point the characters fight and argue and bicker and then okay, Sobe, there you go. So this stuff they must have gotten the rights to be able to show all this as free promotion. I'm sure they agreed to it because, hey, is Adam Sandler? Why not? Now, granted, he's producing it, but then maybe they were thinking. I even looked at the first Deuce Bigelow. The Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo, was a surprise hit. So maybe they're thinking it could be that type of thing. But in Sally, it wasn't. And I think like they were hoping that the concept, the video game stuff, would bring in, younger kids. They enjoy the Adam Sandler stuff. Hey, it's part of that company, Happy Medicine, a goofy, silly comedy about that. So there you go. So it's like it is weird though. Like we're 80 minutes in, and now we got the conflict. But I guess they realize that they can let this conflict be for an entire movie or entire half of a movie. So it's maybe they think it could only be about like a 10-minute or so endeavor, and maybe that was for the better. Because again, it has this kind of loose plot where you could just enjoy and just do stuff of that nature. I think these two worked well together as well. It's too bad the other guy, did stupid shit and that stupid fucking thing with the. I was saying, so I was listening to that dialogue. That's another thing. I'm sorry for the lapses in silence. I know that's not much for a commentary to be again silent for big gaps. But yeah, it's like watching this for the first time because, like I said, I didn't remember much of this. But yeah. I like that reveal. I should have known because you're not hearing any sound effects, but just the timing of just cut to the TV that's not on. You got steals. That would, that would have been a funny reveal if you think, okay, they're doing the zany bit where the Monty is driving them, and then it cuts to, and they're just both passed out, and the car hasn't moved, and the Monty's just moving, and then like maybe like Jonah Hill, come on guys, let's go, and picks them up and takes them to where the fuck they need to go. And this kind of nice. I mean, this is kind of a fun bit. The grandma saving the day. Doors does a really good job with this. We've had competitions before with the Dance Dance stuff and that fraud game, so it's a running motif. And I mean, people like me are fan of video games. We love this kind of stuff, and I'll speak from it. I love this kind of. I love video games. I mean, with video games, I grew up with, played a bit of Atari back in the day. I remember, I think it was like Troll, I think we had, and Empire Strikes Back, and maybe Pac Man. As time went on, there's Nintendo, which I enjoyed. But yeah, the Nintendo Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3. Sally didn't have Contra back in the day, but I love Contra. Super Nintendo, then I went to PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and then I just PS4. And again, when I get requests that people send me for video game playthroughs, I'm always excited like a little kid because I love movies. Don't get me wrong. I love watching movies. I love playing. I love talking about movies. But video games is stuff I didn't get to do for a while, and it's great. Like, be able to play The Suffering for the first time. And I want to play that again, actually. That was fun. And I'm playing right now The Force Unleashed and really enjoying that. So that stuff, again, is very cool, and be able to do that stuff is very humbling and fun. So I now have a modded PS3 that has tons of PS2, PS3 games on there, and just a lot of cool stuff on there. So Grandmother 1 is 6 months later. They're celebrating the release of the game. The fuck is that? King Kong? Odd elephant. And there you go. Like, kind of ends as simply as it began. It just kind of, they're celebrating, running. This guy just collects whatever the hell he wants, whether it be Zimbabwe men or lions or monkeys or an elephant. Just go along from that. So, yeah, short film too, an hour and 29 minutes. So it doesn't overstay its welcome. Back to more of the video game motif here. And yeah, there you go. Watch it again. It's still fun. It's still a fun movie. Still a fun film. Still enjoy it.
I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite comedies of all time or anything of that sort, but it was fun. I did like it. It was one of those movies where the cast seemed game for what they were doing. They seemed game for it. They seemed like they were having fun. They had good chemistry with each other. The peripheral stuff of the gaming world, that was cool to see as a backdrop that people like me could be intrigued by. Doris, she did a wonderful job as the grandmother, very sweet, good natured. And it didn't look down on gamers. It didn't say like gamers were bad or awful or terrible. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't be in this job. How dare... No, it was... There was never downplaying the video game lifestyle. And like, okay, a gross out comedy. I mean, other than a few things, like the one, one moment where there's there's like two moments where there's a fart joke. Him, accidentally coming on someone's mom. We don't see the details of that. A random American Pie film has a lot more than that. So it's not as raunchy as I remembered it being. Cool poster too. I like the poster. The poster has this retro style, kind of like National Lampoon's Vacation type of poster, or Animal House. Has this Animal House vibe with the poster, which I thought was cool. Again, is the different groups of characters, and seeing early role with Jonah Hill and these older actresses just having fun and goofing off. It's just Linda Cardellini, very beautiful, very sweet, nice casual chemistry between the two leads. And this is a very carefree movie, very harmless, for the most part, carefree film that you sit back, watch 90 minutes, you just chuckle at a few scenes and then move on to your day. So not too bad. I like it. It's a fun film. With that said, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye for now.